Hello, everybody. Welcome to All Villa, No Filler. Please remember to like and subscribe. Subscribe, triple underline that if you love the mighty Villa and love the fact that we just hammered Wolves, well, beat Wolves 3-1 at Villa Park today. I am absolutely delighted. My God, Aston Villa are a relentless football team, aren't we? We simply do not let up. We keep going right to the end. And you know what it slightly reminds me of? Back in the day when I used to watch Alex Ferguson's Manchester United, and United often weren't playing that well. Sometimes they'd go the first half, the opposition team would go 1-0 ahead, 2-0 ahead, as we found out ourselves as Aston Villa fans against Manchester United, and they would just keep going and they keep going and they go and they go and they go. And eventually they wear you down just by their constantly knocking on the door. And the fact that they have one or two absolutely brilliant players and squad depth, bringing the subs on, and eventually they make the breakthrough, and it just feels like you can't stop them. And at the moment, it feels a little bit like Aston Villa are being a little bit like that. Everton last week, Leicester the week before, and now Wolverhampton Wanderers as well. It is relentless, is how I describe us. And yeah, I mean, look, let's sum this match up. I mean, I am skipping. I'm skipping. I want to get down to the nearest bar right now. I want to show off my Champions League patch to everybody. Everyone looking at me thinking, who the hell is this loser? And I'm saying, I'm buying you a drink. It doesn't matter. What do you want? A bottle of champagne? Well, I can't. Do you know what? Take it. Take it. Put myself in even more debt. Look, um, I think first half, very interesting in the sense that, look, firstly, I have to mention the match preview I did, okay? The two teams were exactly as I thought it would be. I thought Bogarde would be dropped. I thought Konsa would go to right back and Carlos come in because basically we've got Bayern Munich in a couple of weeks and they need to get Carlos's minutes up because we cannot have Bogarde facing up against Serge Gnabry, Jamal Musiala, and whoever the hell else Bayern Munich are going to be throwing at us. That just can't happen. So I think they're going to have to go with Carlos and Ezri Konsa at the moment. Do I love Diego Carlos as a defender? No. I've been vocal about that on this podcast before. That I think his distribution, I think his weight of pass is too heavy sometimes. I think his long balls often don't really go anywhere, and I think that he has a clanger in him. Bournemouth last year, Bournemouth away, Manchester United away last year. Other examples of it as well. And again, you just today, I think Aston Villa in the first 15 to 20 minutes were. I think it was fairly cagey. I think it was fairly even. I think Villa were fine. I think Wolves were having quite a bit of the ball without really doing a lot with it. And then we go and absolutely gift them a goal. Good finish from Cunha, good, well pounced by him. But Carlos, again, is something he does. Yeah, he just has that clanger in him. And I think he has it in every single game just because it's the nature of his distribution. So, look, I think I am just on this podcast. We don't get at players. We don't like to single out players. We've never done that on this channel. We all support the players. Carlos obviously has his qualities. He's had brilliant games for Villa, but I just feel that I don't love him at centre back. That's just my opinion. I can only say what I see, and I'd love to have your opinions on it as well. Do you think I'm being harsh? Whatever. And I think Carlos Konsa at centre back is just better. It's just what I prefer. Anyway, so yeah, I think first sort of 15, 20 minutes, it was fairly even. I think Wolves came with a decent game plan, as we knew they would. I said as well in the preview that I thought this was a game where Yuri Tielemans, whilst he's been so dominant in previous games, I don't think Wolves will sit off in the same way that Everton did. And I think it might be more reminiscent of the Leicester game, where indeed he was going on to Tielemans, and that actually Tielemans might not be so involved in this game. It might take him a while, and for when Wolves start to tire and the gaps open, then Yuri becomes more involved, and that actually is exactly what happened. So I do have to mention that because why not? No one else is going to. So yeah, there we go. Said that was going to happen, and it actually did. So that's nice to see. But yes, I think Wolves came with a good game plan. I think that's what Gary O'Neill's all about. They've not come into this game in good form. I don't think they're as bad as their form suggests, but there is something slightly missing with them, I think. And but anyway, look, they got that goal, and obviously that added impetus to them. It took away impetus from us, and I think that what happened for the rest of that half, we just looked a bit hungover from the Champions League game. In the end, we weren't pressing hard enough. Andre in centre midfield had all the time he wanted on the ball. Ait Nouri going down the left. He's a brilliant player. Ait Nouri is I can't see him being at Wolves forever. He's 23 years of age. He's going places. I think as a player, he's very very talented, and he gave us a real nightmare. I thought down Wolves' left. I think what they were doing as well, which was quite surprising, is their centre backs in Mosquera and what's his name? Dawson. The two of them were coming so wide apart. They were stretching the game so much that it was almost like the two centre backs were miles apart from each other. And Semedo and Ait were going way, way forward. And they were just stretching the game all the time. And it just made Villa look a bit static. It looked like they were just always hitting out wide and they just were overloading us out wide all the time. And I just kind of felt like Villa, once we gave the goal away, we didn't react to it. And Wolves got up to it. I think Andre was pulling the strings for them in the centre. And I think once they lost possession, what they were doing really well was they were almost going into, whilst playing a sort of 4-1-4-1, they were kind of going back into a five at the back and then two in midfield and three around. And it was so compact in the centre that we weren't really able to go through the centre. Then when we were going out wide, I didn't think we really had the dynamic players to do anything out wide. I don't think that Dean is as dynamic really as Matson, and obviously Leon Bailey is a more dynamic player out wide than John McGuinness. So it was obvious that we needed to make changes, and we were lucky not to be 2-0 down, to be honest, by half time. Morgan Rogers was having the worst game I think I've ever seen for Villa. Yuri Tielemans wasn't really getting involved, and I think our best player in the first half, Amadou Onana. He must have won so many challenges. And to be honest, a lot of the challenges he won saved the day for us, actually stopped things happening that could have got a lot worse in the final third. So fair play to Onana for the first half. But second half, Matson coming on immediately made a difference. That dynamism down the left. And I said again in the preview, I said Wolves down that side. It just feels a bit like Semedo's a player you can get at. I feel like there'll be a bit of space down that way to work with. I think Mosquera being young, sometimes on the ball he looked a bit vulnerable. I hope he's well as well. That looked a really bad injury actually. Really, really rooting for him. Obviously, you'd hate to see players get injured, but look, I think again Villa we whilst we were the side with more impetus, I don't think Wolves really did anything in the second half, and you could feel the momentum building. It wasn't really until I think Ross Barkley came on that it all changed. Barkley comes on for Onana in about the 68th to the 70th minute, and honestly, this is now the third game where Ross Barkley has made all the difference because obviously John Durán's come on in these games and scored the winner in all of them. He got a goal again today. He got a goal. He got the winner against Leicester. He got the goal against Everton. Sirens just going past there. But listen, if you can hear that in the background, but Ross Barkley coming onto the pitch has made massive difference in every game as well. Against Leicester, him retaining the ball, 100% pass completion, ball out wide to Dean. That leads to the cross. That leads to the goal from Durán. Against Everton, he was a constant metronome. If you look at where his positions was on the pitch, he was constantly in there, pushing near their area. 100 again, nearly 100% pass completion rate in that game. Constantly making things happen all the time, keeping it ticking, keeping the pressure up. And then today, again, I bet his pass completion rate, I haven't seen it yet, but I bet it was close to about 95%. I think he lost the ball maybe once. His tackling was great. Keeping the ball in difficult areas was brilliant. But his passing, just again, relentless, just keeps you going forward. And eventually, those spaces start to open. It starts to knacker Wolves out. They can't keep up that defensive momentum they had from the first half. And eventually, the Villa relentless machine, it will open up, and it did open up. And Tielemans got more involved then from about the 70th minute. Matson down the left was causing constant problems. Leon Bailey out on the right was a constant headache for them. They were having to double up on him. And once we got that first goal, I mean, it was a relief. But, Ross Barkley, pass into Durán. Durán miscontrols it, but Durán keeps going. Chaos theory. The man himself, Jeff Goldblum, when he talked about chaos theory in Jurassic Park and tried to flirt with Laura Dern, Dr. Ellie Sattler, he was talking about chaos theory. What he should have said was, just watch John Durán play football. That's what chaos theory is. It leads to magic, is what I would say. Austin McPhee looks like a damn wizard from Lord of the Rings looking on, going like, I can't conjure magic like that. Anyway, John Durán, he wins the ball, wins the tackle back, gets to Morgan Rogers, and Rogers had been pretty poor all game. That's why you leave him on, because he's such a dynamic player. Pushes forward, and what a weight of pass that is into Watkins. And Watkins, the man himself, the man whose name I have on the back of this shirt I'm wearing right now, takes the shot and gets the goal. 3 goals this season now for him, 3 and 2. And like we say, he starts seasons a bit slow. First 3 games, it tends to takes him a while to get going. But then when he gets one, the flood comes, doesn't it? It just keeps on coming. And what a player to have in Ollie Watkins. What a legend he's going to be for Aston Villa. And he's going to get Gabby's record this season, I'm sure of it. And anyway, once that goal went in, you could feel the momentum was going. Mosquera obviously got that terrible injury. As I say, I hope he's really well. I hope he recovers quickly. But then Villa didn't let that 10-minute break essentially stop us, kept on going, and eventually it works its way to a corner. Matson gets it, works it back to Tielemans, and Tielemans with an absolutely fantastic ball. Big assist again. Such a key player for Aston Villa. All roads lead to Yuri Tielemans. That's how crucial he is. Whips that ball to the back post. And Ezri Konsa getting in there. Second goal in a row against Wolves. It's like what Gabby Agbonlahor used to do to those jabronis at Birmingham City. Go to St Andrews and point at the back of his shirt. Always scoring goals against Blues. Ezri Konsa's doing that now against those jabronis from Wolverhampton. Robert Plant there writing a new Led Zeppelin song, writing, crying tears, probably singing Tangerine to himself in the shower tonight, just so gutted. But yeah, great, brilliant. Brilliant, great movement from Konsa, but a fantastic ball from Yuri Tielemans. Wow, what a ball! And then from there, you're just hoping don't make any mistakes, and eventually works its way back to Morgan Rogers. Super, I think it was Morgan Rogers, but yeah, super ball across to Jhon Durán. Jhon Durán, who looked so. Compare his body language to last season to this season. Last season, he always looked a little bit like he was on the brink of a sulk, a little bit, a bit all over the place. That sort of chaotic body language wasn't translating too well, I thought. This season, he looks like he's got a boyish charm. He looks like a sort of teenager who's been asked to go out and have the game of his life, and he's trying to do it all the time. And sometimes it leads to, like, his brain gets ahead of him. So sometimes the touch might get a bit heavy, or he might go in for a challenge that he shouldn't go in for. But that's youthful, exuberance. But again, brilliant from him to make that movement, stay on side, and get that goal in front of the whole end. It's probably quite rare to see him score simple goals, isn't it? But super stuff, and that's now 4 goals for him in the Premier League this season. You cannot help but be extremely excited about what Jhon Durán is going to do as a footballer in his career. If he keeps his attitude up the way it's been going, the way the players are talking about him off the pitch, if he can keep this up, he's going places. He's going to go right to the very, very top as a striker in world football. He really, really is. Look, I am so absolutely delighted. Oh my goodness. I want to go find, if there's a Colombian restaurant near where I live, I'm going to go there. Today, a Colombian guy did actually see me wearing my Villa shirt and said, "Why is Jhon Durán not starting for you?" He just came up to me and said, "Why doesn't Jhon Durán start?" And I was like, "Look, hey, Ollie Watkins, he's so good." And Jhon Durán, he's working in that Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer role at the moment, isn't he? The start will come. I'm sure it will. But overall, Aston Villa, we're a relentless, relentless machine, aren't we? It's reminding me a little bit of Fergie's Man United at the moment, which is, it's a great compliment. But we have not kept a clean sheet in the Premier League this season. I have to throw that in there. We've played West Ham, who are in poor form now, a few games in. We've played Leicester, who are, not the best team. We've played Everton, poor, not doing well. And we've played Arsenal away, of course, Arsenal at home, sorry, and now Wolves, and we've conceded goals in all of them. And there's going to come a game where if we concede a goal, we can't keep putting ourselves under pressure like this to work our way back in. There's going to have to come games where we just take that lead first 15, 20 minutes and just, keep possession, get another goal and finish them off. We're not doing that. That control isn't there yet. Maybe it's something that will come, but it does slightly worry me that it's a continuation of what we've seen since around January, where Villa there were games last season where we go 2-3-0 up, and then we concede 2 goals. Luton last season, Brentford last season, Nottingham Forest last season, Manchester United last season. These are all games where we keep conceding silly goals and we have to work our way back into games, or, we're ahead and then we're giving it away. And it's something that Villa are going to have to fix really, really quickly, because teams like Bayern Munich, if you give them a goal in the first 20 minutes, night. Manchester United a few days after that, you gift Marcus Rashford a goal away in the first 20 minutes. Man United will they're not going to collapse in the same way that, say, an Everton or a Wolves did. Maybe they will, but I'm not convinced. I think the better teams in the Premier League are not going to, are going to have more resources to be able to compete and hit and stay in the lead than some of the teams we've beaten recently, having gone behind. That's just my caveat about it. But otherwise, Aston Villa, what a team! It is bloody brilliant supporting the mighty Villa right now, and it's always brilliant supporting Villa, even the 15-16 season somehow when I was staring off into the distance doing 1,000-yard stares, wondering why someone won't give me a hug and a rub on the head and just, like someone pour me a cold milk to get over the fact that Villa were the worst team on the planet. Come a long way since then, haven't we? What a team. Up the mighty Villa.